So this dude walks up to 13 at the end of the episode and is like, "Sir, they're getting away. Should we send someone after them?" And 13 replies with, "Hire the assassins. Allow them to go chase after them." And then he continues on and says, "I want them all back alive." And I'm thinking like, what? What? Like, that doesn't make any sense, because when you think of an assassin, obviously an assassin means to kill a bitch, just like slit their throat. It doesn't mean that they're hired thugs that go out and just capture someone. Assassins, usually their main job is to go in and assassinate someone. That's the whole point. Unless my definition of assassin is off or something, I don't know, man. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, why in the hell would the man say, hire assassins, but then have them all back alive? That seems like you're kind of limiting the assassin's abilities, because usually when assassins go after someone, they're more equipped to kill someone than to disarm someone or capture someone. They're usually meant to, you know, kill someone, poison him, whatever. And seeing the way he said that, I'm like, okay, that's kind of like, what? But you know what? I just roll with it. It might be a translation error. It might be just writing in general for the series. I have no idea. It's just that I was like, are you serious right now? But let's continue on. So this episode of Grimoire of Zero reveals that Albus is the granddaughter of the witch that started it all, the innocent witch that got burnt alive and then started all the conflict in the series, basically. Well, we found out that Albus, you know, our third wheel character, is actually a female. Now, here's the thing. The female aspect of Albus, I didn't see it coming. However, I have seen a lot talk about this theory. For instance, saying that Albus might be a girl. And after looking at this episode and all that, I'm like, there's just like no way, most likely, you could have really have known Albus was a girl beforehand, unless you've read the original source, or you knew something. I was thinking to myself, like, there's just no way, because the way it was done, and I'm like, there was barely any hints that Albus was a girl. So I was like, okay, just, it doesn't legit make sense, but you know what, let's roll with it. But still, though, Albus is a girl, and I have to say right now, that still doesn't make Albus a better character. Now, don't get me wrong. Yes, I don't like Albus that much. However, I don't completely hate the character, and I have to say that the character being a female, it's going to add an interesting dynamic, because obviously Albus is probably going to become, you know, free once again, and then eventually probably journey off with our main characters once again, wherever the series wants to take us. So this obviously isn't the end for the character. It's just like, I wonder how the whole party is going to interact with Albus now knowing that he is actually a she. And that's kind of what this entire episode was gearing up for. For instance, the reveal of Albus. Now, the episode didn't really try to hide it when it really started at the first part, because you had to where the baby had the same color eyes as Albus, to the hair color and all that, and at that point when the episode started, you can pretty much connect the dots. I mean, it was pretty damn obvious at the moment. Even if you didn't see it coming or whatever, at that moment of this episode, when that started happening, they were shifting to scene and all that back and forth, it was just like, obviously they're the same or whatever. It just, I mean, Albus looks like a dude, and just very confusing. So I'm kind of confused about that, but overall, though, the reveal was pretty obvious when you started this episode. So, the wolf dude seems to be very important. I'm actually very surprised he is important to this series. I figured he was going to be a character that was going to be like a minor character that wasn't really going to be important at all, like in the grand scheme of things. He was just going to pop up, start some conflict, probably try to kill our main character, which he tried to do in, you know, the previous episode, and that was about it. I mean, he was going to get his shit beat in, give some information, that was it. And then maybe we might see his character way off in the future. Maybe not in the anime, but in, you know, the original source of the series. So I thought the character wasn't going to be that important. However, I couldn't have been any more wrong. The character had a lot of information. In fact, information that makes this character very relevant, and potentially a character that could become a part of the main cast, not someone that's just thrown to the side. Because one thing is that this dude was tasked with watching over Albus, you know, the original witch that started all of this, the conflict that, you know, got burnt alive. Basically, he is watching over her granddaughter, which is Albus. And so once Albus is free and everything is fine, I can see him watching over Albus and journeying with the mercenary and journeying with Zero just to do whatever they're doing. Or maybe Albus and the Wolfman might split up and do their own thing. I don't know. I mean, that is a potential possibility as well. Maybe, Zero and Mercenary, when they finally get back together, they split off from the Wolf and Albus's group, and they do their own thing, while Mercenary and Zero do their own thing as well, so they go their own separate ways. That is also something that could happen. However, judging by the way this character is getting a little bit of development and all this type of stuff, like characterization, I want to assume he's going to be a main character that's going to constantly pop up in the series now because of the importance of Albus and what, Albus even stands for in the first place. So yeah, I have to say, this episode did a good job with, kind of letting us know what the main point of Albus's character was, but also, on top of that, also allowing us to know that the Wolf Guy wasn't just a useless character thrown in just for unnecessary conflict. He was there to be rather, useful. He was there. And also, we found out information that apparently this man wasn't like our mercenary. He was actually born human. He was a regular person at one given time, but then he decided he wanted to be like a beast fallen, and so he asked the witch, he got turned into a beast fallen, and then because of that, he was tasked with watching over Albus. So that was really cool to find out how he willingly wanted to look like a beast, and he wanted to be a beast fallen. That's just very interesting, because everything we found out when it comes to beast fallen, to what we've seen how, humans treat beast fallen, how beast fallen treat humans, just the relationship between the two, but also witches as well. It's just like, why would someone want to do something like that? Why would they go so far to, make their body go through that, and then also have to deal with the issues and the struggle of, people constantly being, evil towards them because they're a little bit different? I was really surprised that he went that far. It just shows what his determination was, and also how he had his motives straight, like what he wanted to do for the series, and how he also wanted to protect Albus in, the upcoming future. So that was cool stuff. It was a cool episode to kind of reveal this about the characters, and that's basically about it, besides one other thing. Let's talk about 13 and the Zero connection, and also with, Mercenary as well. As we know, Mercenary, he has like a magical bond with Zero. So if he gets injured, obviously Zero takes the damage. So let's say, he gets like a big hole in his chest, Zero would instead get that instead of Mercenary. And I don't know exactly how long this magic, barrier bond thing will work. I mean, I don't know if it will last until Zero dies, or will it continue to affect Zero even after death. I have no idea. Regardless, though, basically, Mercenary's tied to her, and he still has yet to realize the connection, which is really upsetting, because it seems like he's so oblivious to the fact of how, he survived that wound he got in last week's episode. I mean, if I was him, and I was in that situation, and I got shot, and I felt the pain of being shot, but then I looked down, I didn't have anything, I'd be like, what the hell happened? Like, what just happened? It would be in my mind, regardless of finding out information from the Wolf Guy about Albus and all of that, I still would be thinking pretty deeply about that. Like, I got hit. Like, how did I feel that pain but have nothing? Like, there's, like, no way, like, that came out of nowhere. Like, there's definitely something wrong with me. I would be thinking that, but he didn't even think about it. He didn't even have a moment in this episode where he actually thought about that. And when 13 mentioned Zero and all that, he heard it, and he still didn't understand what was going on. So that right there, I'm like, are you serious right now? I mean, okay, I understand he was shot with magic, and maybe he thinks because magic is different, it could have had a different effect on his body. Maybe, but even then, even if he didn't see a wound, if he knew he got shot by magic, I would be honestly thinking, okay, so if I got shot by magic, I see no wounds, what's wrong with me? I mean, maybe I'm under some form of spell or something. Maybe, they put a curse on me or whatever, but the man didn't even think about that, so I was just like, that's kind of off for me, for, him not to even think about that because of everything we've seen from his character thus far, because he's very cautious. He's someone that constantly worries and thinks about things, and seeing how he didn't really think about that, I'm like, that doesn't make sense. It really doesn't go along with what we've seen already previously established with his character. Maybe it's a, adaptation error. Like, how anime, when they adapt things, they don't show everything. Maybe he did think about it in the original source, but he didn't think about it in, the anime series. That's a potential possibility. I could see that happening. I could see the animators probably seeing that and probably just cutting it out, not thinking it's really that important, probably to build up the tension and conflict for when, Mercenary finds out about Zero's connection to him. maybe that's what they're trying to do, and that's probably why they might have, axed it out. But still, it doesn't make sense, because that would have added more impact to him finding out whatever is going on. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I love you all so much. You have a wonderful day or nights wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.